Good morning, everybody. It is July 1st, and this is your Grand Portage Community Garden update. Just wanted to show I got some pretty severe caterpillar action going on this broccoli that once was pristine. Good 10% of it's kind of wiped out, but I sprayed for the second time yesterday with some BT, so hopefully that solves the issue. And looks like my peas are doing decent. I had some really slow and yellowing growth on the end, and I'll show that to you. A lot of plants like this, pretty much all the way down. And for the first part of, since they were put in by seed, there wasn't any drip tape, and I solved that problem, and I've been really just watering them a lot, and so far so good. They're coming back. So a lot of this cabbage here that got hit by a rabbit pretty hard is coming back. It's also now getting some caterpillar issues, but I also sprayed. I pretty much sprayed everything here that would be hit by caterpillars. I sprayed it all, and it won't be the last time. Right here I just planted a good amount of turnips. They're 50 days till maturity, so should be plenty of time left. Typically up here when things are really hot at the start of the year, it gets cold really fast, and I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. So I'm not counting on an extendedly long growing season. I'm just going to kind of take the days that I've got and work with them. So I'm just planting everything I can. My zucchini are coming in fantastic. I got a lot of blooms. I've already given away a couple zucchinis to some people that visited here yesterday. Can't say as much for these cherry tomatoes though. They're really limp and not really bursting with growth. Same with these onions. They're just not doing all that well. I don't know. I've never grown onions by seed, and they just seem to take forever, and when you really need them in, they're just not big enough. And not sure what the plan will be for next year other than to start them much earlier, like at the beginning of the year in January, because if I planted them July 1st, that would be 6 solid months of growing, and I think that's pretty much what I'm going to have to do for next year if I'm going to do seeds. So I got the Florida weave method going down over here. Looks to be pretty good. Some of these aren't big enough to actually, fit in between them here, but I put up the second row of string yesterday because some of them were big enough, and yeah, it looks like it's going to work pretty well. I just wish I had more tomatoes, but these will eventually bush out, and it'll be more than I can handle, I'm sure. I've had a lot of strawberries already. I've harvested about 6 pounds. These guys are already making runners. So, I mean, this area is pretty well compacted already with strawberries, so I'm not exactly sure what I'll do with the runners. I think I might get some little pots and maybe try to distribute them throughout the community. Hand out strawberry babies. And this row here, I just planted potatoes a couple days ago, and put in another trellis here for another row of peas. So hopefully these ones come up better than the other ones did. I've been watering them pretty hard. It's been so dry that I've basically been watering every day. Oh, look, here we go. It's the first one I've seen. That's what, 3 days? Unbelievable. I didn't even hydrate the seeds before I put them in. They're already coming up. Well, that's great. All right, this hoop house still unfinished, but I had to start stringing up these tomatoes. They were just getting too long. So I just tied some string off. I'm using these little plastic clips to keep them on the line, keep them vertical. And now the pruning begins, because when you do it this way, you just want them on one main vine. So to me, this way is a lot more work than any other way, but you're supposed to get a higher yield. We'll have to see how that goes. Cucumbers here that I planted a few weeks ago, they're still a little bit too small to start trellising, but I'm going to do the same thing with the line on these. So it didn't take too much time to just use a step ladder and tie them off. I'm sure there's some easier ways to do it, but you know, I'm working with what I got. But this is a pretty good amount of cucumbers in here, and I've got quite a bit more. So then here's another greenhouse, or hoop house, I guess. I guess the difference between greenhouse and hoop house is that a greenhouse is climate controlled, a hoop house is not. But I'll still call it a greenhouse, so forgive me. But I got 3 pretty thickly packed rows of peppers in here. They're not doing too bad. It's just everything seems to be so slow. And then the last couple trays of cucumbers that I had as seedlings were just a little bit yellow. So I'm a little nervous on what's going to happen with these. Oftentimes when I see them so yellow like this, they turn white. Like you can see, they're starting to turn white, and then they just die. But we'll have to give them a few days, and hopefully they come back. When I tilled this up and then harrowed it all, I had this massive ant mound that I'm trying to kill with some borax. So I just put the borax out yesterday, so hopefully that does the job. But yeah, there should be a pretty decent amount of cucumbers. These plum trees here are really just loaded with fruit. I don't know if it's the first time they fruited or how many years they fruited, but I don't see too much on this. Wow, something's really eating these. Got some fruit there. This one doesn't look to be doing good at all. And something is just, whoa. Something is just destroying this one. It's eating all the leaves off. This had a ton of leaves. I should check these more often. These things are going to be wiped out. I better get something and spray these. This is the 3rd hoop house. Really very little's been done on it except putting the hoops up, and although that wasn't really easy. But I filled this whole thing with potatoes a couple days ago. One of the locals, well actually he's from Grand Marais, donated a bunch of seed potatoes to us. And you know, that was really nice, so I planted them in here since I wasn't planning on doing much else with it. So this will just be a huge potato crop. And then the final garden bed, basically a huge strawberry patch. Yeah, a little snacky. These things are popping off so quick, it's hard to keep up. And then also all my squashes. You know, I didn't take into consideration until someone mentioned it to me about saving the seeds from these, since they're all different sorts of squashes all together. They'll get cross-pollinated with one another, and then the seeds won't be true seeds. But oh well, you live and you learn. But yeah, I've got a few more acorn squash that are kind of late bloomers coming in. As you can see, you know, these ones are just really small compared to the first bunch. You know, over here, you know, they're much bigger. I haven't really seen any deer or moose tracks in here recently, so maybe they've run to the hills. But I am gonna get some fencing put up ASAP. I've got the fencing, it's just getting it done. I need some help. But yeah, this is almost fully planted, this little area, and soon one day I'll have this area filled with something too, which will be cool. It's just hard to do it all. Y'all have a good day. Take care.